So this woman is trapped in a box, and she can barely breathe. She starts banging on the walls of this box, but no one hears her because this box is in a shallow grave underneath the ground. She was just buried alive. Now, the guy who buried her, his name is Marchin. He's 19, and he lives in a small town in Poland. One day, he goes to the store and sees this woman. Her name is Melina, and Marchin thinks Melina is so fine, so he finds some way to talk to her. He charms her, and they totally hit it off. They start dating and fall in love, and pretty soon they pack up and move from Poland all the way to England to start their new life together. Marchin even proposes to Melina with a diamond engagement ring, and that diamond engagement ring will become important later. Anyway, they end up moving in with Marchin's parents, and they get steady jobs. A few years later, Melina gets pregnant, and they have a kid. Everything seems to be going well, and it looks like they're building a really good life together, until at some point, Marchin suddenly starts acting differently, like his personality changes. First, he gets really into going to the gym and working out and working on his body. No big deal. Melina doesn't think anything about it. He's just getting in shape. But then he starts going to the gym 5 times a week, and he starts using steroids, and slowly his temperament changes. He becomes kind of a jerk, and he and Melina start arguing a lot. When they argue, Marchin starts having these crazy violent outbursts. Meanwhile, while he's at the gym working out, Marchin starts meeting other women and flirting with them. In turn, he's looking at poor Melina like she's suddenly boring, and he's simply not attracted to her anymore. He no longer thinks she is so fine. Naturally, pretty quickly, their relationship breaks down. They start fighting all the time, and soon enough, they're barely even speaking to each other. Marchin, at this point, is done, and I guess Melina is too. I mean, she can't put up with this anymore. So she tells Marchin she wants to take their son and move back to Poland. Their son is like 3 years old at this point, and Marchin absolutely wants this relationship to end. But there's a problem. He's worried she'll get full custody of their son, and she'll be living all the way in Poland while he is stuck in England, living with his parents, and he'll never get to see his kid. So then Marchin comes up with a plan to get rid of Melina and keep custody of their son. One day, he puts that plan into motion. He invites Melina to go shopping with him, and Melina's like, "Hell yeah!" She's probably excited because this is the first time Marchin has given her positive attention in a long time, and he's suddenly asking her to hang out. I mean, this is great news. Maybe they don't have to break up now. Maybe they can stay together. Maybe she doesn't have to move all the way back to Poland, and she can stay in England and keep the family unit together for the sake of their son. Maybe he's changed his ways, and he'll stop using steroids and having violent outbursts. Maybe he stopped looking at other women in the gym, and he's going to start looking at her again like he used to. Maybe. So she starts getting ready, and she's all in the bathroom doing her makeup and whatnot. Like, this is going to be fun. He's being so nice. Maybe their relationship is improving, and she still wears her engagement ring, because deep down, she's still hoping that maybe it'll work out between them. So anyway, she does her makeup and comes out of the bathroom, and Marchin is standing there in the hallway. Suddenly, he's not alone. He's got a friend with him, this guy Patrick. He's like, "Hey, Patrick's gonna tag along with us. Cool?" And of course, it's not cool. Melina is disappointed because what the hell, you're bringing a friend shopping with us? Now here's where the story gets dark. All of a sudden, Marchin pulls something out from behind his back, a stun gun, and he says he's going to show Melina how it works. Then suddenly, bam, he zaps her on the neck with 300,000 volts and boom, she falls to the floor. While she's down, Marchin just keeps zapping her over and over again to make sure she doesn't get up. Then Marchin and Patrick tape her legs and her wrists so she can't move, and they tape her mouth shut with packing tape. Then they zap her one last time, and then they put her in a big cardboard box. They seal up that box, load it into the trunk of Patrick's car, and drive way out deep into the woods where no one can see them. They get the box out of the car, carry it up a hill, and throw it into a hole in the ground, a shallow grave that they had previously dug because they had been planning this for a while. Then they start to bury that box with the shovels they brought. Now, inside this box, Melina is freaking out. She can hear the sound of dirt outside hitting the cardboard, and so she's suddenly aware that she's being buried alive. How in the hell is she going to get out of this? Marchin and Patrick finish burying the box, then drag an 88-pound tree branch and set it over the top of the grave so that there's no way she can get out. She is stuck. Then they walk away, get in the car, and leave, leaving Melina there in the box underground to be slowly and painfully killed. Here's the thing, though. Melina is so scared, but she is not trying to die today. She is going to try everything she can to get out of this. So she waits there in the box quietly until she's sure Marchin and Patrick are gone. Once she's sure, she starts looking for any way to escape. That's when she remembers she's still wearing that diamond engagement ring he gave her. So she takes it off, and she uses the sharp edges of the diamond to create friction on the tape around her wrists. Bam! She ends up cutting the tape. Then she does the same thing to cut the tape from around her legs. Then she starts slashing and cutting at the cardboard ceiling above her until she slashes a small hole in it. Then Melina just starts punching it until she punches through it. She continues punching, and eventually, she punches a hole big enough to get her head through. She pushes herself up through the dirt as hard as she can until eventually her head comes out of the ground, like she's a freaking zombie rising from the dead. She wiggles herself out of the box, squeezes out from underneath the tree branch lying on top of the dirt mound, and she is out. She had been buried alive for nearly an hour. She's covered in dirt and worn out, but she's alive. Now time has passed and it's dark. She's deep in the woods with no idea where in the hell she is. But then she hears music off in the distance. It's not very loud, but she can definitely hear it. So she starts walking toward the sound, and it turns out it's coming from a nearby pub. Eventually, before she can get to the pub, she reaches a road and flags down a passing car. She tells them what happened, and they end up calling the police. So the police investigate. They track down Patrick's house, where they find Marchin and Patrick. Bam, they arrest Marchin, and bam, they arrest Patrick too. They're both convicted of kidnapping, and Marchin is also found guilty of attempted murder. So Patrick is sentenced to 4 years in prison, while Marchin is sentenced to 20 years in prison. Please subscribe.